Hi, everyone. My name is Erin Elizabeth Wernberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you are new here. Today we have a new moon in Leo. Woo! So Leo season is underway, and I'll be reading the cards for you in a way that's reflective of like new moon energy. So new things you want to call in, new things you want to have happen, focusing on some of this new energy that's going on for us. Okay, I have 3 groups for you today. You can pick by the card, by the number, by the sound of my voice, group 1, group 2, or group 3. When you're ready, all the timestamps are below, and I will see you at the reading that you chose. Hi, everyone. Welcome. It's for everyone who picked group number 1. So as a reminder, this is a new moon reading, so I'll be reading the cards in that way. But to get you started, you all pick the card Uncovering Confidence. So this is a really nice card on the back. There's affirmation. So I'm the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. That's true. That is true. Okay. And so uncovering confidence, this can be, sometimes we can be afraid to shine brightly or use our gifts or, really trust what's in our hearts, the desires or the guidance that's there. But the truth is that part of trusting God is trusting the gifts we've been given and trusting the ways that we want to grow and trusting what we can offer to the world, and knowing that when we listen to that and when we really hear that, then that's when we're really embodying these things that have been written specifically for us. And so uncovering confidence just means, for a lot of us, it's not so much, figuring out what exactly do I want to do? How do I want to do it? How this exact way? It's using, because we're not given all of our guidance all at once. So the confidence part comes in. Can I trust if I'm being guided to just do like this one exact thing right now? Can I trust like this step I'm being shown to take without knowing maybe where it's going to lead or how all this can add up or whatever the story is? So uncovering confidence can be about remembering that it's very brave of us to just start, right? Sometimes we can really forget how much courage it has taken us to move forward, to do one thing at a time, to just start the process, because we can get so focused on like, well, I still have so far to go, or I'm not as far as this person, or I need this thing to happen in my life first. But uncovering confidence is really just about remembering that like every single thing you're guided to do and the piece that you play in all of this stuff is on purpose, and knowing that the confidence to just take one next right action and one next right action, having faith that all that will unfold in a way that is supportive for you and showing you how to get to the other side and all of that. That's really what we're talking about here with this uncovering confidence. So with this new moon, I think you can really think about what are the ways, especially because it's in Leo, right? Leo is like the jokingly, the self-absorbed sign of the zodiac, but in a positive way. Okay, so Leo energy is really about, just knowing who you are, knowing that's what you're going to do and showing up and doing it. And so uncovering confidence, this can really about, be about just really owning and asking yourself with this new moon, what can I feel are my gifts or things I'm guided to do, even if it's, just on a small scale, and how can I implement that and do that in my life? So this uncovering confidence again is about not so much trying to figure out what you need to do, but just being brave enough to take the step you're being guided to take right now, right away, right here, instead of being like, oh, it has to be this big, huge, I have to know the end all be all of every single part of this thing, when instead, again, you can just focus on what can I do right now, which things feel true to me right now in this situation, instead of, again, trying to feel like you have to figure out every single thing all at once. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to look at your tarot cards, then I'll look at your oracle cards. Okay, so group 1, we have opening your reading with Judgment. Then we have the Moon. Then we have the Hangman, 3 major arcana right in a row. Then we have the 7 of Wands, Knight of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, and the Sun. Wow. Okay, so I feel like right off the bat with this Judgment, the Moon, the Hangman energy for you guys in group 1, there's a lot of wrestling within the self going on, because the center of your reading, the theme of your reading, is the 7 of Wands in the middle. So this really represents like a battle within the self. It represents, you fighting within yourself to either see the truth, to trust the truth, to follow your intuition, to follow your guidance, right? Something's going on where you are just like in this inner turmoil within yourself, where you can't really trust that or hold space for that. And so this card, I love just the visual of this person, and then you see the wrong shoes, like when you're such in that mind state where you're so focused on, is this working? Is it not? Is it whatever? That we can get so caught up in everything that we don't even realize that, these things are like, we're so caught up in these stories in our minds that we don't even realize the ways that it's affecting like our physical reality. So going on with this uncovering confidence card, I feel like these two together are just a reminder that like most of the times we hear our destiny, we hear our guidance, we hear what we're being called to do, but it's up to us to then embody that and make it happen more than more than like, it's like us taking action on it more than it's us. Can I hear it? Do I know what I need to do? Do I need, I don't know what the next right thing is, right? It's just, we know each next right action, but it's up to us to follow them and move forward in that. So the 7 of Wands is really just about, overcoming that inner conflict and those things that are going on for you, and like really trying to not look at yourself as your enemy and befriending yourself and just saying, okay, getting curious, like, okay, what's my resistance here? What do I think it means? What about, all this stuff? So all of that energy. Because again, going back to your reading with the Judgment, the Moon, the Hanged Man, I just feel like you're getting clear about some of the ways that you, you're playing yourself. You're not letting yourself experience life to the fullest. You're not letting yourself hold some of this awareness of all that you are, of your magnificence, of all of these things coming together. Okay, so Judgment is about, shit or get off the pot energy. It's time to put up or shut up. It's time to figure it out. It's time to make a decision. So I feel like there's just been this internal energy within yourself with Judgment. And this is really about, what are you going to do when push comes to shove, when the day of judgment comes, when, it's time for you to make a decision either way. What are you going to do? And then the Moon represents, some of this like more subconscious energy, more of these things going on inside of you that maybe don't feel the best or don't feel like, these things coming to the surface. And so I feel like, again, with this uncovering confidence, I'm just getting a lot of energy of like, you can't deny what you hear your truth is anymore. And there's just this awareness around moving into that energy instead of like trying to pretend like you don't hear it. So it could be like a career move or, a side hustle you're interested in, or I don't know, take it how it resonates. Or it could be, I want to be different in my relationships in this way. Like, it doesn't have to be a thing. Just you discern your spiritual lessons, not me. But again, with this Moon energy coming up, it just feels like, a lot of this, like, okay, it's been like, just getting an image of like bubbling in your subconscious and your unconscious mind, and it's going to flow over and it's going to show up, and you do have to make a choice, and then part of, once you hear that and look at that, the Hanged Man energy really represents, how can I stop playing myself? How can I stop this energy of like, oh, I didn't even realize I was harming myself because I was, seeing myself in such this limited way, or I didn't realize I was, not letting myself express myself in the fullest way that I could, or I didn't let myself grow and expand into this person that I know I am in my heart. So again, these 3 cards, I think is just this big energy of like, you can't deny it anymore. What you do about it is up to you, but you can't pretend like you don't hear it, or you don't hear the guidance or the growth, or, what feels like the next thing for you. So this energy again is really about just really, seeing what's going on in your heart, hearing the guidance, and then deciding, what am I actually going to do with that? What feels like the right thing for me? How am I going to move forward? How am I going to allow these things to, come into my life in this way? And again, it's up to you. And do you have the confidence to, not only just the confidence in yourself, but confidence to trust God that, you hear this guidance for a reason, and it's for your benefit one way or another. And it's just up to you to decide what that is and what you're going to do. Because then we have the 7 of Wands in the middle. So I was talking about, it just feels like you're at this make a decision stage of just like, what are you going to do? Are you going to give space to this and act on it and do something about it? Or are you just going to say, okay, this is the way I can do it, and these may be smaller ways, or no, this is not something for me. This is not what I'm going to do. So I just feel like if you've been feeling a sense of unease, or like, you can't quite get your footing, this is really just about stop trying to resist, and just instead like let yourself look at all this stuff in front of you, and let those things kind of come forward, and and look at them all instead of pushing everything away, right? We can't grow. Like if you don't look, you're never going to be able to see what's actually there. So you can't grow if you aren't willing to look at what's happening or what's going on there. But then, I mean, look at this. Knight of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, the Sun. All of these three cards together. Oh my God. This is such positive, forward moving, abundant energy here. Okay. So I feel like once you make this decision, once you decide to make something happen, it could be slow, you know, it is progression though. So the Knight of Pentacles, it's a little bit of a slow moving guy. Okay. But we can see that it is forward motion and the Pentacles on there, right? This Pentacles energy can be just the birth of a new idea, of a new thought, of a new way of being, of a new whatever. And it's just trusting, again, trusting that one little seed to move forward, to guide you to what's next for you, all of these things, right? So this Knight of Pentacles, again, is really about just following what's in your heart, moving forward, trusting that, and just letting yourself be carried by those things. And just, again, I'm just hearing so much with you guys in group one of just like, just one next right action, then one next right action, then one next thing, like doing your part and showing up. And then, because then that goes right into the Wheel of Fortune. So I think the Wheel of Fortune is about fate, things moving, going forward. So, you know, there's always, we do our part and we do what we can. And then God does for us so much what we can't do for ourselves. God does for us so many things that, you know, connects the dots, fills in the gaps, brings everything together for us in a way that we can't do for ourselves, or a way we can't imagine. We're like, oh, how does this relate to this to relate to this? One day we find out and we're like, wow, that's amazing. Thank God God was in charge and not me, because I would have not put it together that way, or seen how all these things connect, or, you know, whatever. So this Knight of Pentacles into the Wheel of Fortune is really about just really trusting that if you do your part, and again, trust your guidance, trust what you can hear is for you, trust what you can hear is like the thing that's going to take you to that next place, that next level, then this is what is going to move you forward in these things. So, and then again, Wheel of Fortune is like fate taking its hand, fate turning things for you, fate moving forward. And just really, again, trusting that and trusting what that looks like for you, and trusting that God is rearranging things for you as long as you do your part and you do your thing with this. And then look, the sun will come out tomorrow. Okay. So this is just like beautiful energy of abundance, of things happening for you, of things coming together, of all of that. So I just feel like this is just a really, you know, you're always rewarded, even if physical reality, you don't get the things you want. The sun, this to me really feels like the sun from the soul. It really feels like, you know, just floating into this awareness, this abundance, this like all of this amazing energy of just like, you know, just sunshine, you know, let the sun shine, like all of this energy of just sun shining on your soul, on your life, just feeling proud of yourself, feeling abundant, feeling like I did do so much for myself. I allowed so many things to happen, you know, all of this stuff. So the sun, again, is really about letting yourself feel that abundance you've created for yourself, letting yourself feel, you know, the confidence. Like when you take action to do something, sometimes we think, oh, well, if I don't get what I want, I'm not going to be proud of myself, or it's not going to feel good. There's so many times where when we just take the action, when we praise ourselves for trying, for being courageous enough to try, that feels so good to the soul. And that feels so good to just be like, oh my God, I'm so proud of myself that I tried, even again, if it didn't turn out exactly how you wanted. So the sun, again, is just reminding us that the sun can shine, you can have abundance, you can have a lot of these things in your life coming forward that feel good, even if it's not the exact, you know, it had to be this thing in that specific way. Okay, I'm going to look at your oracle cards. Group one. Okay, so I have, this is amazing. I accept the gifts I've been given as a high service to the world. So this is exactly what I was talking about with this reading for you guys in group one. Like uncovering confidence also means, you know, part of trusting God is trusting the gifts we've been given, the desires that are in our heart, our intuition, because again, there's this bigger moving picture that we can't see. And so trusting that the gifts that you have, the things that you're drawn to, the things that feel good for you, those are a high service to the world. And if everyone does their part, then, you know, just imagine like we can get so focused on like our individual energy, but this is so much about everyone doing their part and all these things coming together and all these things adding up and, you know, all of this. And so the gifts we've been given really are us doing our part and contributing to the world dynamic and world energy, instead of being like, I'm going to use my gift so I can get rich, so I can whatever, so I can, you want to look at it from this place, this heart-centered place of like, this is what I know is my gift and I'm proud of myself and I'm going to move forward with that, instead of feeling like, I'm too shy to use this gift, or who am I to embody this thing? It's like, well, do you trust God? Yeah, then trust this gift you've been given. And that's, again, part of the uncovering confidence piece that comes with that. Then what else? Then we have get wild. So I feel like you can take this literally, and maybe go out in nature, or maybe, get some inspiration, go for a walk, spend time in nature, just feel connected to all that is, and see, again, it's not about you. It's we're part of the bigger picture, the ecosystem, the flow of everything. So just, again, seeing like some of that in physical reality helps ground us, to remind us that we're just like a small part in all of this. Or you can look at this as like, get wild in terms of get wild, get out of your comfort zone, try something different, try something new. Get wild in terms of like the way you think about yourself, wildly creative, just doing something a little bit different. So take how it resonates. Maybe both messages resonate for you, but yeah, again, just this get wild energy of just trusting, something wild and different and crazy can happen if you get out of your own way. Because we have expect a miracle. So again, I feel like this isn't about like, sometimes we think a miracle is a big, huge shift moment in our life, which sometimes it is, but expect a miracle can just be like, you being like, God, show me how to use my confidence, show me how to do this, or you just show up and do your part. And again, this thing, you're doing your part, and then the wheels of fate are turning and changing. And so you never know the way that God is going to use all of these things in your favor and to your advantage with everything. So expect a miracle definitely is perpetuating that and allowing that, and just, encouraging us to do the things that feel we can feel in our heart we're guided to do, and then trusting that, again, God is connecting all those pieces for us. Because then we have world energy. So the earth is going through a transition of energy, and your sensitive body is feeling it. You're not alone, except the help of others. So I feel like this is just a reminder that, the world is going through a transition, but what I'm getting from this card too is it's about, doing your part. And so feeling like, oh, like, again, this highly individualized, like, well, who am I to do this? Who am I? Whatever. But when you shift it around, like, oh, this is what I'm contributing to the world energy, and I'm doing my part, and this person is doing their part, and this person is doing their part. And so all of us together are contributing to this world energy. And so just remembering that, when we feel nervous or scared, like if we have faith, like I have faith that people are doing the good work that they need to be doing to contribute to this world to be better. And so other people probably have faith that I need to be doing my part as well. So just remembering you are connected to everything. It's not just you. It's not just about you. It's using all of that to move forward in these ways. And then we have compromise. And so I feel like this is, again, beautiful scales of balance right there. So I feel like this isn't about, it's not about compromising and being small about your dreams or what you want to have happen, but it is about compromising, like, again, I'm just hearing for group one, I'm just hearing a lot of this theme, and a lot of things I've talked about is like, it's not all about you. And so this compromise is like, okay, how can I make it into more, like, again, these scales of balance, how can I make it into more about like, okay, this is about things balancing out and me doing my part while God does God's part. And it's more about, okay, this is the way I can show up for service, instead of just, I need it to be this way in this thing so I can get this, whatever. Okay, so compromise is about balancing all these things, letting these things come together, and knowing, again, it's not just like my way only, it has to be this exact thing, it has to be whatever. Compromise is about knowing, there is your goals and your dreams and your vision, and you have to work with, you don't live in isolation, you have to work with the collective, with a lot of things that are going on, besides just these things for ourselves. Okay, I'm going to close with one affirmation card for you guys in group one. I follow my joy. So I feel like this is really about, again, when you trust this, the confidence, sometimes we think, well, like, how can this be a thing that's of service if I like it so much, or it feels so simple, it feels so easy? That's how I follow my joy is just a reminder that, like, again, your part doesn't have to be suffering. It doesn't have to be like, I work so hard to get this, right? Like follow your joy. It can be something you just enjoy that feels simple. It feels clean. It feels clear. It feels easy for you to do. That's what we're talking about here with this. I follow my joy. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 2. So you all picked the card Healing Heartbreak. And on the back, there's an affirmation that says, my heart will love again. So obviously, of course, this can deal with romantic heartbreak. If that's what you're going through, I'm sorry, I've been there. I know it's not, it's not the best feeling in the world. But heartbreak can also be the heartbreak that we feel when we break our own hearts, when we attach our hearts to, something that's not written for us, or things going a specific way, or things being like, it has to be my exact way, this exact thing, this exact whatever, instead of, letting things kind of unfold in the way that we need to for ourselves. And so healing heartbreak, again, just a reminder that it's, when we go through these trials and tribulations and we feel just like, we break our own hearts when we try to make something be something it's not. And another way we break our hearts, it's very, very common, is we try to make something God when it is not God. And so we break our own hearts by trying to find salvation or making something God, or when we try to play God, when we can't actually do that. So I feel like healing heartbreak, the energy I'm getting, I'm feeling is like where we have to kind of let go of a dream that we had, not the dream, but the way it happened, the timing, like the specifics of it unfolding, not the actual dream, but the way it happened, with the exact circumstances we thought, with whatever, right? And so we can feel like, okay, well, this didn't work out how I wanted, or wasn't with the person I wanted, or the situation I wanted, or the timing, or the place, or whatever. And what can break our hearts is we feel like, we can feel like, oh, well, it's just not written for me because it wasn't this exact thing. And that's not true. Happiness and fulfillment and abundance and joy can be written for you, even if it's not with one of those specific things that we've been very, very attached to. And so my heart will love again. I think this is also just energy of like, your heart can trust again. You can open yourself in that way. So with this new moon, if you want to just give yourself permission to, and you don't spiritually bypass, I'm not for spiritual bypassing, okay, but if you want to give yourself permission to just really like write and think about, okay, this is what feels good for me, this is what doesn't feel good for me, this is a way that I can this is a way that how can I open my heart again? How can I trust? How can I, have faith that maybe this unfolding in a way that I didn't think it was going to can still be a gift to me instead of a punishment with all of these things. So healing heartbreak, just remember, our hearts, as long as you really hold your heart with care and love and let it speak to you, we can heal so much of ourselves and our life, even if we feel like we can't with that. So healing heartbreak again, your heart will love again, your heart will feel whole again, you will find joy and laughter and peace and trust and faith in God, no matter what's, kind of going on right now with everything. Okay, I'm going to look at your tarot cards and then we'll look at your oracle cards. Okay, so group 2, so you guys picked the Ace of Wands. You didn't pick this. This is what your tarot card came out. You picked group 2 in this way. Okay, Ace of Wands, 6 of Wands, the World, Queen of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, Justice, and 4 of Wands. Wow. So this is overall clear, positive energy, I think, going on for you. So Queen of Pentacles is the center of your reading. It's the theme of your reading. What I'm hearing with this is like, the heartbreak that you feel, this pain you feel, the loss you feel, it had to be this exact way, it had to be this exact thing, whatever. Don't let that negate this amazing Queen of Pentacles that you are. So this is regardless of your gender, it's just Queen energy. So this is really about, really embodying that, really, this is someone who has built a lot of things for themselves, who has created a life for themselves that feels abundant and clear and good, and just is really aware of all these things. And so this Queen of Pentacles is really about like, I'm just hearing like, don't forget who you are. Like, remember all these things you've done for yourself. Remember the ways you've shown up for yourself. Remember the ways that you've given yourself, all of these gifts and the things you've built for yourself, the things you've done for yourself. And sometimes when we have a loss, or we have something not going the way we want or how we thought it was going to be, we can be like, oh, well, nothing works out for me, nothing happened, I don't have anything, right? Loss triggers like very scarcity mindset and a lot of fear-based things. But with this Queen of Pentacles, just really remember, even if your heart is breaking, or you're working through an attachment, or you're having an ego death, there's so much that you've done for yourself that can't be taken away from you. No one can take away your relationship with yourself, your relationship with God, the work you've put in your own life, the things you've already accomplished, the way you've committed to yourself, what kind of person you are, right? Your willingness to grow and reflect and change. So no one can take that away from you, is really what I'm hearing with this Queen of Pentacles. So, with this new moon, again, you can reframe like, okay, even if I feel this loss, I'm going to give myself permission to feel that, but I'm not going to negate all these other things I've done for myself, I have for myself, all of that energy. You want to focus on not washing all that away just because you feel scared or upset, or things, feel a little off for you right now. Because opening your reading, I'm really feeling it. So this Ace of Wands into the Six of Wands into the World, this energy is really about like, you did it, you figured it out, you created this world, this wonderful life for yourself. Ace of Wands, this is the beginning of an idea, beginning of passion, beginning of like a passion project, or a trajectory of like, this is where I know I want to take my life, this is where I know what I want to have happen, all of this. That's this Ace of Wands energy. And then going into the Six of Wands, this is really about the mastery of that. It's really about like feeling proud of yourself, feeling like, wow, I did it. I put in the time and effort and I accomplished my thing. It could be you got a university degree, or you got a promotion at your job, or you healed this one pattern inside of you, or you chose something different, or you got, take it how it resonates, right? But this is really about like, you put yourself out there and you put in the work and the time and the effort and the hours, and you deserve to be proud of yourself for that. You deserve to celebrate your accomplishments, celebrate what you've created for yourself. The thing on earth is there's no shortage of ways we can continue to grow and expand and add more things into our lives. But we think that, like we can, it's very easy for us in the ego to negate everything we've done and just be like, okay, well, where's the next thing? Where's the next thing? Where's the next thing? Instead of just taking a moment to really reflect and look at, okay, look at all these things I've done, look at all of that. And then the World, I'm getting two messages with this. The first one is like the completion of a cycle. So maybe you're in a transitory time in your life. Maybe, you just finished your university degree, or you just are leaving the certain job, or you're just, putting your heart out there to find a next romantic relationship, or I don't know, but it feels like a little bit transitory, or you want to make a career change, something transitory with this. And so this is saying like, you do have the option to close that and move into the next thing. Because the other message I'm getting with this is that the world is yours. You have these options, you have these choices. You don't have to limit yourself just because of something not going the way you want, or this certain attachment, trusting that like a delay is God protecting us, a reroute is God protecting us, something not going the exact way, time, whatever, is God protecting us, right? All of these things together are just reminding us that, the world is really like, the world is still spinning, the world is still moving, things are still happening, there's still an abundance of things you can do for yourself, even if it doesn't feel like it in the moment. And so again, this really is energy about like, you know how to do this, you know how to put the work in, reap the rewards of what you've sown, and cherish that and celebrate that in this way. So these cards are really about, don't negate everything you've done for yourself, don't negate the ways that you know how to do that, you know how to survive things, you know how to change things, you know how to make things happen. Like, do not minimize all that for yourself. Because again, we have the Queen of Pentacles in the middle, and just remembering like, even with this new one, if you just want to make a list of like, these are things I'm proud of myself for. It doesn't just have to be worldly accomplishments. You can be proud of the type of person you are, the way you handle conflict, the way you handle these other certain things, right? So this energy is really about really embodying that and trusting that within yourself. Because then moving forward, we have a sword here held upright in the exact same imagery here. So with this Ace of Swords and Justice. So I feel like with this Healing Heartbreak card, and just kind of like cutting away some of the ego attachments. That's the first message I'm getting with this Ace of Swords, of just like, so the sword suit is always about boundaries, but with this card in particular, it's about getting clear of like okay, these are the things that I absolutely do not want to move forward with, or this is the ego attachment that I thought, can I ask God to help me release something having to be like this exact way, or it has to be this exact thing, or whatever, right? So this Ace of Swords is a reminder that you can ask God to help you see it in a way that is freeing, or in a way that isn't so much about like, oh, it has to be this exact thing, but it can be different, right? So asking God to help you release your attachments, release your timeline, release your, release my way, and letting it be God's way. And then look, and then both of these two also have the crown here with that. So a lot of this repeating imagery. And then once you do that, justice is about things coming back into balance. It's about, so maybe you won't get, maybe some worldly justice that you're looking for, but maybe you will come into a little bit more of this energy of like, finding balance within your heart, finding balance in God's plan, finding balance in the way things have unfolded. And even, not letting these things mean certain things about you, right? Sometimes when things don't go our way, we think, oh, well, I failed, or it's something that we have absolutely no control over, but we make it about ourselves. And we're like, oh, well, I'm not good enough because this exact thing didn't happen. And it's like, well, are you even like powerful enough to control that thing? No. Okay. So this is about just letting things come back into balance, and trusting that the ways that you can show up for yourself and allow these things to happen, and surrendering to God's plan, remembering like God is never punishing us, God is protecting us. It's God's perfect plan and God's perfect timing. Just remembering like these boundaries you need to set to let these things unfold in that way, like, and not it's okay to be upset, obviously, and to feel some sadness that things didn't go the way you wanted. Like, of course, that's okay. But these two cards are really just reminding me like you have to ask God to help you release your attachments to things going a certain way, and put your energy back on what can I control, what's in control of, can I change my mindset, can I change what I'm doing, can I change whatever, all of that, instead of, again, making it totally about, it has to be this exact thing in this exact way. Because closing your reading, beautiful Four of Wands. I love this card. This is the gateway card. It's like moving into the next place in your life, the next level, the next whatever. So this is really saying there's so much more to come. There's so many more things that can happen for you. There's so many more things that, God has written for you. And, sometimes we're in the middle of like, I don't know how it could be this way, or how is this something positive, or how can whatever, right? You don't have to find the lesson until it's over. You don't have to, like, things don't make sense until they do. So this is really saying, there is an opportunity here to get to that next level, to get to that next layer of your life, to move up. And a lot of times we think like nothing's going our way. Sometimes when something is so bad that we're like, okay, this is actually, it turns out to be actually good. And like God has to rearrange so many things in our lives. We want a really big blessing, a really big level up. A lot of things have to get rearranged before we can get there. And so this card is really talking about like, it is accessible to get to that next gateway, that next level, that next layer. It's not punishment. You can trust God. You can trust all of these things unfolding in your life to get you there, instead of feeling like, oh no, it's never going to happen. Whatever. This is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. There is abundance for you. There are more things coming to experience, to, to allow to have happen in your life. Your oracle cards. Oh my God. Okay, so this is what these two cards, exactly what I'm talking about. So there's no such thing as a mistake. Everything happens in divine order, and being guided to learn and grow, and also opportunity. So these two cards really go together for me. So this one, we'll start with, there's no such thing as a mistake. Everything happens in divine order. I'm being guided to learn and grow. So again, like, it doesn't have to be like that you give up on your dream. It doesn't have to be that like, you're being punished. Sometimes the only thing we have to learn from a situation is just how to be kinder to ourselves, right? Going through a hard time, or things not going the way that we want or we thought, is not ammunition for us to use against ourselves, to say, oh God, I hate you because you didn't give me this exact thing, right? So there's no such thing as a mistake. It's like God's perfect plan, God's perfect timing. Like I said, once we get through it and all the pieces come together, then we're like, oh, okay, I get it. That's why it had to be like that, right? But once we get there, we can feel that. And part of faith is like, how can I do that until I get there, right? So how can I own that energy before that happens? How can I tap into that, trust in God before that actual thing happens? And so just trusting, okay, if I really believe in divine order, how would I be acting? If I really had faith in God, how would I be acting? If I really believed that all of these things are happening for my highest good, how would I be acting? And again, learning and growing, that doesn't mean like you have to find a lesson somewhere that you don't want to find. It can just mean learning and growing can just mean being more kind and compassionate to yourself. It can just be going through things and healing some of these attachments and just being like, wow, can I love myself anyway, even if whatever ego story is going on for you. And again, really looking at this as an opportunity and not in like, romanticizing unideal things way. Like, I don't believe in that, right? But if you really are making the most of a situation, sometimes that just means not punishing yourself, not making things, not like, taking it all out on you just because you're going through a hard time, right? Opportunity, there's always opportunity to, especially with this, you see like the golden light coming down here on this angel. Like, so you have this opportunity to allow love and care to come in, to allow these things to feel like just replenishing your faith in God, right? God isn't there. God isn't like smiting us and being like, look, I did this to you because you deserve it. It's like God is there to be this unlimited, again, this like energy pouring down into this unlimited place of faith for us to tap into, not this fear mongering to push onto ourselves. So again, this is an opportunity to just really, healing this heartbreak of like, can I hug myself? Can I give myself some love and compassion and kindness? Can I have faith in myself? Can I, can you use all of those things to give yourself that space and that grace instead of feeling like, I need to have this exact thing be this exact way or else. So just again, like, it doesn't mean it can just be an opportunity to be more compassionate, kind, loving, understanding of yourself and what you need. So like that could be all you take from this. So we have diamonds are formed under pressure. So again, like, not two things can be true. And one of these is we are not romanticizing hardship and saying, yes, God, give me more. I hate this. Give me more, right? But that's the first thing that can be true. And the other thing is like, you can be going through a situation and making the most of it and having faith that this is God's divine plan for you, right? It can be both things. And so knowing that, this pressure that we feel, God creates these exact situations for us to go through so we can tap into our own strength, our own awareness, our own trust in ourselves, our own whatever, right? So all of those things, diamonds are formed under pressure, is just a reminder that all of these things are working together for our highest good, and we will come out the other side, softer, more kind. You don't really have to be stronger on the other side, can you be softer? Can you be more kind? Can you be more understanding? Can you be more compassionate? That's just as important, if not more important, to learn than, I'm so strong, I got through this, right? Can have you learned to be more compassionate and kind and loving to yourself? That's a very big lesson for a lot of us to learn in this lifetime in many different ways. And then we have love. So again, I think this is just really beautiful because love is beautiful, but also there's a heart on here, and the opening card was healing heartbreak. So again, your heart breaks to break open sometimes, and so this energy can really be about trusting that love, infusing love with yourself, like self-love. Can I, it's okay, it's going to be okay, I love you, I'm staying with you, we're going to figure it out, like, all of this energy you can put into it instead of just being like, no, get through it, this is what has to happen, whatever. So can you give yourself some nourishment, some love, some energy of trusting in that, and just even tapping into, again, this more universal love than like some of this immediate like judging myself for certain things. And then the last flower card we have laughter. Uplift yourself and those around you through loving laughter. So again, this isn't like spiritually bypassing and just like, ha ha ha, everything's fine, I feel fine. But can you find moments of joy? Can you watch something funny? Can you go in nature and like just smile at, the animals you can see, at flowers growing, at whatever, right? Can you just let yourself have moments of joy and laughter while you are figuring these things out? You don't have to wait until you don't have to wait until certain circumstances in your life have happened to feel laughter and joy and peace. And in fact, if you do that, there's always going to be a circumstance to change, to grow, to change, whatever. So this laughter energy is really about, trusting that it's up to you to enjoy things in the meantime, while you're waiting for things to come together. And doesn't mean you don't work on your goals or you don't whatever, but you can have laughter and joy and lightheartedness in your life. In fact, I highly recommend it no matter what's going on. It really assists with getting through a lot of things in this realm. Okay, we're going to close with one affirmation card for you. I nourish myself. Beautiful. So this is exactly what I was talking about with like, sometimes we go through a hard time and the lesson is for us to nourish ourselves. It could be with food, but it also can be with loving kindness. It can be with compassion. It could be with trusting ourselves. So nourishing yourself, what's best for you. You know what type of care you need. It's important to do. Yeah, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. So you all picked the card Honoring Adversity. And there's an affirmation on the back that says, a fire reveals a path of renewed direction once the burning is complete. So really beautiful. So a lot of times we think, oh, I'm going through a hard time. This feels so bad. I don't want to do this anymore, which is fine. I think that too. I don't like it. I want to be comfortable. I don't want to grow and change. Okay. But so honoring adversity is just a reminder that, when the fire of purification comes, what is left is you, and what is left is what is meant to stay. And sometimes we have all these attachments and all these things of like, it has to be this exact way, and it has to be this exact thing, and it has to be, whatever the stories are that are going on in your mind. But when you honor adversity, this is just a reminder that, there's certain things we like to be comfortable as humans. Okay. We like it to be our way. We like it to be this. And there's certain things that we wouldn't willingly change unless we were forced to change them. And so when adversity comes, sometimes that's God rearranging things for us in a way that we wouldn't rearrange for ourselves. We wouldn't accept like, oh yeah, I could do that. Sure. No problem. Or I'm willing to let this thing go, because we're usually not willing to let a lot of these things go. So just a fire reveals a path of renewed direction once the burning is complete. Trusting the process. If you're going through a hard time, if it feels like you can't get your footing or you can't whatever, is trusting that there's so many things that happen to us in a way that helps us unlock a part of ourselves or deepen our relationship with ourselves or get practice doing something that we've, been meaning to do for a long time, but we just never did. Okay. So honoring adversity, this is really just about, trusting that the path is moving with us, and anything that gets burned away is not to harm us, but is actually for our highest good and helps us get there. And remembering that, like there is such thing as healthy emotional distress and healthy things not feeling good and healthy situations where, there can be adversity, but it's teaching us something that's so valuable with this. So if you're going through a hard time, keep going. The only way out is through. The only way you can do it is just keep doing it, and things are temporary. This too shall pass. All of those mantras you might need for yourself with this. Okay. So just honoring that, life is hard for everyone. There will never be a situation where you don't have something to grow or change or work through in your life. Okay, I'm going to look at your tarot, then I'll look at your oracle cards. Okay, so we have, opening your tarot, we have the 3 of Swords, heartbreak baby, then the 3 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, then the Page of Cups, 5 of Wands, Temperance, and the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so this Page of Cups, I feel like this is the theme of your reading. This is the center of your reading. I feel like part of you wants to honor this adversity group 3. Part of you knows something's going on for you that's for your highest good, but you don't want to believe it. Your ego doesn't want to believe it. You don't want to connect to it. Okay, this Page of Cups is like being surprised by an emotion or by something new, or, being surprised by a little part of life that we can't predict. And so this Page of Cups is, I feel like there's like I'm just seeing like this little fish poking out of the cup of just like, okay, that there's a lesson here for you. That you can't, keep fighting against this. You have to surrender to this adversity. You have to surrender that this is your life. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. If you want things to change, right? Once we accept them, that's when the door opens up for things to change and be different. But if we don't accept anything, if we try to push against it and resist it and fight against it for whatever, then we're not going to change. Things aren't going to move. So this Page of Cups, I feel like is, you can really honor this adversity. What I'm really hearing is like, okay, how could this be for my highest good right now? Even though it feels impossible, how could this possibly be something that's beneficial to me? And part of you knows the answer. It's just, do you want to believe it or not? Do you want to believe it? Do you want to accept that this is the truth? Do you want to accept that this is something that is helping you and for your highest good? So again, this Page of Cups, let yourself just kind of, it doesn't mean, okay, and that's the other thing, it doesn't mean you like it doesn't mean you condone the situation, doesn't mean you're like, yes, God, let this happen forever, okay? But when you honor your adversity, it's that meaning suffering ends when meaning begins, right? We can go through painful situations, we can go through situations we don't want, but when we stay there and we replay it over and over, we feel like we're powerless or we can't do anything different or whatever, then that's when things get really painful. And that's when we can feel like, okay, you know, there's no point to any of this. But this is like, let that little intuitive thing say, what could be the lesson here? And again, it could just be being more kind and compassionate to yourself, to surrendering to God, to, you know, letting your ego have an ego death. I don't know, I don't, but this is, again, just a reminder that you probably know it's just the resistance to the lesson, which is fine. I do that too, I'm like, I don't want to learn, I just want to be mad, right? So letting with that. Because, we do have this Three of Swords opening your readings. This is a very obvious card, what it means, heartbreak, really getting stabbed in the heart there. And so I feel like this adversity really, whatever you're going through, also I want to give you some compassion, give yourself a hug. But this is really about trusting what you're going through and trusting your feelings. And maybe, you haven't let yourself be disappointed by what's going on. This is sadness. There's rain on here, dreary, it's sad, it's upsetting, not a lot of color on this card. Okay, so this is really just letting yourself be upset, letting yourself feel that heartbreak, letting yourself feel these things that don't feel the best. Okay, and then going along with that energy, it's like sometimes when you can feel heartbreak or adversity, we want to like go into isolation. We don't want to listen to ourselves. We don't want to trust ourselves. We don't, we want to just shut down and go away. And when that happens, this Three of Pentacles, you really need to tap into that energy of like feeling community. So what I'm hearing is like, if you're trying to handle this adversity all on your own, or in a way that is like, I can do it, I don't need help from anyone, stop. Okay, this is a very clear message that it's okay to honor this heartbreak. It's okay to honor these things that don't feel the best. But that Three of Pentacles is a reminder, we have community for a reason. We have support for a reason. We're interdependent for a reason. And this is just all about, letting yourself feel that energy and letting yourself trust what community care can do for you. And just, it could be even like reaching out to your friends and saying, I'm going through this hard time. Can you give me support? What do you think this means? What do you think I should do? And just like letting some of that, letting something like broaden your perspective instead of just feeling like, oh, I have no say in this. I can't have a choice. I can't, whatever. But just, letting yourself feel some love and care. Or if you're just like, I just need you to support me right now, doing that too, because then we have the Two of Wands. I feel like once you do that, that's going to open yourself up to be more reflective, to be more open, to just kind of realize some things that could be going on. This is a card of contemplation. This is a card of like possibilities. And so just really trusting that like, okay, maybe the lesson here is whatever, maybe it is just being patient. Maybe it's surrendering and knowing God's in charge and not me, but here we have the person with the world in their hand, just remembering like, oh, there's so many options for me. There's so many things out there. There's so much in this world I can do and connect to and be a part of. And that Two of Wands is just a reminder of that. And just remembering like, you don't need to, you can change your mind. You can have a new story. You can have these things come forward that are very, just really, abundant for you, and you can shift perspective, and you can't change your perspective overnight. You can't just like, oh, got it. There is emotional process with a lot of these things, but this is just like planting the seed and opening that up, because again, center of your reading, like I talked about, is this Page of Cups. It is this energy of like, there can be an emotion, there can be a surprise there can be something you learn, there can be something that comes out the other side that again you didn't really like expect or think about or realize was an option for you. But yeah, just this really beautiful energy of like, you do have this Page of Cups here to like let yourself be surprised by the guidance that comes through when you surrender, when you have this conscious contact with God. You can ask God to show you, like, show me, what am I supposed to learn from this? What am I supposed to be doing? What's the meaning? Like, ask God to help you. You don't have to do it by yourself. There is this community care of actual physical people, but there's also care from like your angels, your guides, from God, of course, from, whatever you believe in. There can be support there, and letting yourself be surprised by what can come through for you. And that all sounds really nice, but none of that will happen without some conflict. Okay, so this Five of Wands, this to me just really feels like when we do need to rewrite certain things in ourselves, when we do need to choose a different story or something like this, their conflict does come. So this card can remind us that we do need to have an ego death, a new way of thinking of things, a new way of looking at things, right? All of that energy here is like, it's normal for conflict to come up when that happens. When we have to sort through ideas, when we have to choose something different, when we have to have something different come in our lives, okay? This energy is really about letting things be different, and then like dealing with the conflict that comes up. This could be, I really feels like conflict within the self of just like, okay, if I'm really gonna honor this adversity, what stories do I have to accept are true? What stories do I have to let go? So this is really, doesn't really feel like energy of you're gonna be in conflict with other people. It could be maybe you have to work through feelings of like jealousy or, whatever, but this really feels like to me it's gonna be a lot of internal conflict of like, the ego doesn't want to die, it doesn't want to accept this could be happening for your highest good, any of that energy. But it is normal when you're trying to find a new belief system, right? Cognitive dissonance and confusion about something does actually mean you're trying to find a solution and you're growing because you're doing something different than before. And then we have temperance. So this is really beautiful. And so this is just saying, you can soothe yourself through this. These triggers come up to come out, these stories come up so we can rewrite them. And you can give yourself permission to kind of give yourself a lot of grace. And temperance is soothing energy. It's a new dawn, the sun's rising back there. It's like pouring this energy into yourself, this soothing energy, this lovingness, this care, all of that. So these two cards can just remind you that, even if there is conflict, again, these triggers come up, these stories that don't feel good come up so we can rewrite them. It's not like, oh no, I failed again. It's like, okay, it's here. What can I do with it? What can I allow myself to be changed by, to be different, to, whatever. So this energy is really about, if these triggers come up, these things don't feel good, you can write a new story. You can stay with yourself. You can give yourself enough self-care and love and attention that something can be different this time with everything. Because closing your reading, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So you will get through this. There is the other side. Okay. This Nine of Pentacles is like, it's physical abundance. It's feeling confident. It's going through a stroll in your garden. Okay. It's just like really elevated energy, really just like the storm was worth it. I got through to the other side. I made it. All these things have added up and feel good and clear to me. And so again, this Nine of Pentacles is really about just like honoring that and trusting that and knowing that, all this uncomfortable things and all this adversity, all the fire that you're going through, like everything you lose on the way to this other side was never yours to begin with and won't actually serve you long term. So again, the Nine of Pentacles is really about trusting yourself, trusting what it means to get to the other side, and all of that energy for yourself. Okay, I'm gonna look at your oracle cards now. Okay, so the first one is, instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. I think that's really important. Sometimes when we go through a hard time, we can hear a lot of these stories. Maybe it's things someone said directly to you, or maybe it's just a story you picked up on based on misunderstandings in the world, right? But instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. So a lot of times if something not ideal happens or an adverse situation happens, we can be like, God hates me, God's punishing me, this means this about me, or this means whatever, right? Instead, with this new moon, maybe you want to notice, okay, what are the stories that are going on in my mind and how can I rewrite them, right? So you don't need to take on the fear that I'm not being punished, I'm being protected, or I didn't do anything wrong, this is just life on life's terms. So really giving yourself permission to sort through some of that fear and not internalize it in a way that's harmful to you. That can be adversity too, right? Sometimes we go through rejection until we learn, it's the same lesson over and over again until we learn it. Sometimes we go through rejection enough times until we stop making it about ourselves, or we stop saying, oh, well, this means this about me because I got rejected from this, and this thing. Does it? Or is it just a situation that's happened, right? And then we have the grit and the oyster makes the pearl. So again, exactly what we're talking about, the whole theme of this reading, group 3, adversity is on purpose. And once you get to the other side, sometimes we don't see it until we get there, but it is for our highest good. We will have a pearl in our life on the other side once we get there. And going through some of these hard things pushes us to grow and change. Like life isn't about just easy sailing, on this realm, life is hardship, life is trial, life is getting through to the other side. And if you can hang in there and keep going, please do so. You're worth it. Everything is changing, and everything will be shown to you eventually for why these things, had to happen in these certain ways. And then we have, you are lovable. This flower card, love who you are as you're created perfectly. Everything about your true self is beautiful. So this is just echoing what I was talking about. And I really believe this, a lot of times adversity, we can make it about ourselves so much, of like, something's fundamentally flawed with me. Something's totally wrong with me, that this would happen, or this exact thing would be this, or this, whatever the story is. And, a lot of times one of the greatest things we can learn from adversity or work through with adversity is not making these things mean something about us, knowing I'm still lovable, I'm still perfectly whole, I didn't do anything wrong, this is just life. So if this is a lesson for you, you can write, I am lovable, I am perfectly created, God is staying with me, all of this stuff. So just knowing like you're lovable, and you don't need to, again, internalize these situations to mean something about you with that. And then we have the card boundaries. So I feel like, again, a lot of times adversity can show us places where we don't have the best boundaries, where we're not taking care of ourselves, where we're not showing up for ourselves. And so if that's happening for you, you can have different boundaries, you can have a different situation, and all these things happen for us to change certain things in our lives and have different boundaries. And then we have not the right time. So I feel like if you're trying to force your way through this, or change it, or have it be something different than it is, or any of that, this is just really about, you can't rush the process. You can't make something happen sooner than it's going to happen. And so you need to surrender to the process of this, instead of, again, forcing like, I need to get through this. I need to get through this. It's going to take the time it's going to take. And it's up to you to honor that and trust that, instead of, forcing your timing on the situation. Okay, group 3, I'm going to close with one affirmation card for you. I choose happiness. Okay, so again, I don't want this to like bypass the situation that's going on, or pretend like everything's fine if it's not. I've been in very real situations where you can't just be like, I'm happy and everything's okay, but it's like, can you have little moments of joy, of things happening that feel good for you in your life in these ways while you go through this? Can I let myself just feel a little moment of excitement with this? Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. If you ever want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.